Okay, men of men, the class of 1981, probably the best class the school has ever had, possibly, probably. Time to move on to the next phase of the occasion. So Adi Fleisher asked if he could say just a few words and just share his wisdom, words of wisdom, experiences, and
I've just got one question. Are we doing public speaking or are we doing a reunion?
we're doing a reunion.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it's public speaking, but a reunion.
Well, it's a reunion, Doug. And once we've gone through the thing, there will be an open mic. And if you're really good, I'll tell you Jack Charlton's joke. So once formal festivities are complete, the headmaster can fulfill his responsibilities. We're going to support the cricket. Then we will open the mic to everybody else. What I would say is that today, a boy's our boy top scored for South Africa in the cricket. He did. Aiden Markram, top scored. The bad news is they lost by 5 wickets to Australia. But hey ho, you can't win them all. Adi, you've got minutes. Yeah, crack on. Share your thing.
As long as you like.
As long as you like it, there's no limit. There's no limit. Talk.
It's very nice that I don't have any time limit, but I'm going to have to leave in 20 minutes. So you have
Drop the mic.
Okay, you can hear that.
Yeah, you will. I can hear you.
I'm saying it's nice that I don't have any time limit, but I have to leave in 20 minutes to catch my flight. So you're lucky in that respect. So,
it's invasive.
right.
What puppy?
I was a bit intimidated coming to this reunion. Some of you don't remember me, and I don't blame you. I joined the school in Form 3. I got into Form 3E. I skipped the class, so I'm a year younger than you. And at that stage, I was short, spectacled, rather fat. Not very fat, but rather fat. And I got into a class full of giants, all very sporty. The school was very disciplined. The teachers wore gowns. And there was constant caning. You would get caned for anything that you would do. Especially if you were in one of the boarding schools. I was fortunate to be from Townhouse, but the boarders were, I wouldn't say victimized, but they were often beaten. Not always on something that others would be beaten up, and they would have much stricter life after school. So there I was, intimidated, and got into a very hard, what I considered hard disciplined school, and very competitive. Now, for me, I can't compete with any of you, definitely not at that age and not at that size. And the first time that I tried to play rugby and sort of joined any of the team, I broke my glasses, and that was the end of my sport career. Yes. Now, I don't blame you for not remembering me, because, you know...
We do remember you. We do remember you.
I'm building up a punchline. But I'm glad that you remember me. But those that don't remember me, don't worry, it's not because of your memory. I did not join any of the sports teams. I luckily found my refuge in the Gemstone Club. And there's only one person that I found here with the Gemstone Club, and that's Trevor. Where is he? Exactly. 50% of the Gemstone Club is here. And since we needed to choose one other extramural activity, it was library. Yes, I did miss out on a lot of the school's activity. And Mr. Digby, who was our form class master or whatever, wrote to me on my school matric report. I found it just before I came. A lot can be obtained by further involvement in school life, which I suppose is true, but that was not followed upon. Looking back at Boys High, there are a few experiences that I would like to share with you. It's been 40 years, and I left the school, and about 2-3 weeks later I flew back to Israel. It's quite ironic that not very long after my non-sporty years at Boys High, I had to join the army, and started with basic training and followed with officers training, and very soon I was running very many miles and carrying a lot of equipment and having all the sporty stuff that I was not doing, unable to do at school, doing out of no choice. Yeah. Right, what else can I remember? I think the members of staff of this school were quite diverse. Some of them are like light beacons that lead you through life. And I will touch on those in a moment. Some of them are the kind that you don't want to be associated with either. I met Mrs. Van Etten this morning, and she sends her love to all of you. Whoever sent a message through me, I sent it to her. I passed it on to her, and she was very excited. The story with Van Etten and myself goes as follows. My parents came out here, my father came out here to work on a 5-year contract, and they went back to Israel for the starting of the school year there, which is September, and they left in July. I was supposed to stay here until the end of matric, which was December, I think. And I had nowhere to stay. I did not want to join any of the Jewish families. And the Van Ettens offered for me to stay with them for that duration.
How's that?
Such nice people. And today she asked me, Adi, did you enjoy your time? Did you have enough to eat? That was the thing that worried her. And I think a lot of us remember Van Etten from her teaching and how she was strict, and she was also caring. And they were such a lovely couple. It's quite an interesting history, because it also has got some meaning, their whole life history. Dirk Van Etten was a Catholic priest. And when he met Van Etten and they fell in love, he had to leave his priesthood. And Van Etten, Naomi Van Etten, who was Dutch Reform, I think, and I don't know the exact intricacies of the Christian things, being Jewish and stuff. But she had to convert to being a Catholic, and as soon as she converted, she was thrown out of Macy's Square over here and joined the school. And she said, stress onto the boys that these 23 years that I was in the school were the best years of my life. And that's like a fairy tale story, The two couple finding each other and taking the hardships that it takes, and that's a beacon. That's something that you take with you and you say, that's something that love can triumph, and they lasted for the amount of years that it lasted. Mrs. Noble was mentioned yesterday. I don't remember too much of Mrs. Noble, except the fact that she was a wonderful woman and a wonderful teacher. And because of her, I know biology. I even took the biology book with me to Israel and still got it on my bookshelf.
What grade?
Another beacon that I judge myself by, I can't measure up to, but I do judge myself, and I do judge my kids, no longer kids, but my children's teachers and headmasters by, was Mr. Armstrong. Mr. Armstrong, well, his assembly meetings had meaning. There was something to be taken from his assemblies. It was not just the facts that he was giving, there was always an added value. I don't remember anything, but I do remember the feeling of leaving the assembly, of being attentive to this. I don't remember things, it's not just that, of being attentive and being inspired. And I think that's the role of a headmaster, and it's something that I take with me. And apart from the assemblies where everybody can talk, nicer or less nice, I have a few personal experience or things that I remember. I remember with Mr. Armstrong a few things. One, of course, there's the thing with Stanley joining the school and him being able to stand up to all the how am I going to say it without hurting anybody's feelings? the going South African policy, yes, standing up, not fighting, but by actions, doing the right thing by actions, and taking on and facing an opposition, which I'm sure there was from all over. I mean, even my friends of my parents that were all local didn't like that idea, and yet Stanley was accepted at the school and was just as a normal, regular. Anyway, what I want to say is metric, and we have the oral exams, and we have to prepare a speech, and we are divided into these pupils do it today, and these people do it tomorrow, or whatever, and I know that I don't have to do my speech today, the oral exam, and he comes up and tells me that I have to go, and I'm not prepared. Now, some of you are able to throw out a speech without being prepared, but that's not me. If I don't write it, I don't know what to say, and definitely in English, and definitely for an exam, and we have an argument. And then I learned something about myself, which is, don't push me. I'm not sporty, and I'm normally quite calm. I don't know if anybody remembers it except for me, but I lost my temper. And did I go out? Full out. I said names, and I said, things that I would not like to remember. And I got sent to Armstrong. And I was fully on my holy mission there, and I'm going all whatever. And Armstrong calls me in, and I tell him the whole story, and why I'm right, and why yeah, it's a personal trait. Yeah, I'm right. And he sent me back to class. Nothing happened. I thought, whoa. I should have got caned, and we realized that it would not have achieved anything, and perhaps there was a point in my being upset. That was Armstrong. There were other things with Armstrong that sort of you would want a headmaster like this to be the headmaster of your children, someone that they would respect and that will have an added value, and when you look, there will be insight, and there will be a value in character. What else do I remember? Right, now a few anecdotes. Do you remember Stanley Lambrianos? Right. In a boys only school at this age, the hormones are high, and the teachers are men mainly, and the non-male teachers are not all, but not all that young. And we had this, was it Mrs. Hoffman or Miss Hoffman, a rose among the thorns, we call it, we say in Hebrew. Such a pretty woman. I don't remember if it was geography or biology. I just remember looking. I think I was sitting in the front row or second row because that's normally where I would sit. And I don't know if you remember Stanley Lambrianos pinching your bum.
Sounds like Stanley.
Yeah, what else do I remember? I don't know if you remember Mr. Potrito. Yes? Oh, at least someone. Well, there was O'Healy with his special, I'll get to Potrito in a moment. Mr. O'Healy was also a character. He did not laugh. He might smile, but he did not laugh. You didn't know he's going to smile because he's going to wake you, or he's going to smile because of some other things that he had in his mind. And his method of education was, he arranged the class in columns. There would be those that the minimum mark is 80, and those of 85, and those of 90, those of 95. And I don't remember if that was 100, but I did not reach the 95. And if you did not make your mark, you would get whacked. When I explained to my children when they were struggling through math that was an excellent method and it really got me through the trick, they did not believe it, and then they completely did not share anymore their troubles with math. I don't remember too much of school. I remember anecdotes. One, especially the ones that make me lose my temper. For example, with Mr. Potrito, which nobody remembers except for the gentleman here. Yes, the gentleman here. Still a gentleman. Mr. Potrito, I think he was a teacher of Afrikaans, and I did not know Afrikaans. And I had no intention of knowing Afrikaans for the few years that I was here, because there I was coming into a school and everybody knew something of Afrikaans and I only knew Hebrew and English barely. Anyway, I sat through the class and I don't remember, he also had this working system of education, but he was rather fat, big and fat. And I remember there was once that he, I don't remember for what reason, he wanted to wake me. And I did not agree. I don't know how I had the courage to not agree, and I told him, don't do it. And he did it. I threw a punch in his stomach. I remember it because I remember it going in and jumping out. But what I don't understand to this day is how come I never got punished. I was not sent anywhere. It must be because I had some special relations with some of the staff members, you know. Going back to Mrs. Van Etten and staying with Van Etten. It was, you know, we were bringing up memories. You remember the time that the guys threw a petrol bomb at the Brooklyn station? It was brought up here. And he blamed the Van Ettens. Naomi Van Etten, not the husband. And Mr. Armstrong was called in by the police, or questioned by the police, and he had the character to stand up, sitting down at the time, and give her the full support, which got her out of trouble. But the level of civil bravery and honesty, in spite of being able to take an easy way, or pushing yourself aside, or pushing it away from the school, wow, you know, you go through life and you think, I wish that if I'm tested, I wish that I would be able to stand up like that. You know, these are beacons. These are the things that boys had left in me. Naomi van Etten. It's quite funny. There I am, Jewish boy living in a very Christian family, and she made sure that it was just before the high holidays, and she tried very hard to convince me to go to shul and to fast on Yom Kippur, and also not to bunk school when before the matrics, and she had a hard time with that because I would not comply. Yeah. Living there was, it was also, well, whenever I used to use the phone, there would be a pause, and then there would be a click. So somewhere on records in the South African security system, there are records of all my high school notes, comparisons, tests, the things that one should do, and the things that one should not do, but they're all on record. Excuse me?
It was Mossad. 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 Yes,
No, it's not Mossad. Not worried about Mossad. Right. So, yes, I need to leave. Boys I left, it's 40 years since I left Boys High and 40 years since I saw any of you. And many times in life when I look at myself and I'm asking myself, where has my competitiveness come from? Besides being me, I think a lot of it was nurtured in this school. And I'm not sure that it is the best quality that one should have. But it is nevertheless a quality that is instilled in us. Some of you it's because of sport, for me it's because of academics, a lot of criticism, self-criticism instilled by the education and by trying to be the best. There's always this striving to be the best. Very British in attitude, doesn't always fit everybody. And the caning system at the time, well, one would wonder whether it was used by or abused by some of the teachers and members of the staff. And I was very glad to hear that it is being done away with, and we've got we've got counselors now that are speaking to the kids and trying to get them over the problems. One last thing with that I will end. I think as we were strolling down yesterday, we were saying this park is named, or this game field is named after this one and that after that one. And I wonder, where are the women's staff of the school named? We had Van Etten, we had Nobel, we had, I'm sure in the 100 and something years of the school, there were teachers, I'm ending now, there were teachers of stature that should be mentioned in buildings, houses, sports courts, or whatever. I think with that I will end, and I really need to leave. It was great meeting you, and I'm very glad that I came.